Hi, welcome back to Scripture Explorers. I'm James.
I'm Aria.
And I'm Daisy.
And we're the Scripture Explorers.
Who is it from?
It's from Grandma and Grandpa. I wonder what it says.
What have you got there? A letter?
Yeah, it's from our Grandma and Grandpa. We never get letters.
It's so exciting.
Getting a letter can be very exciting. Believe it or not, it was even exciting in Bible times.
You guys had letters back then?
Oh yes. In fact, we're going to be talking about letters for most of the rest of the New Testament.
That's weird. Why?
Well, after the book of Acts, most of the rest of the New Testament is made up of a series of epistles.
What's an epistle?
An epistle refers to a letter written from church leaders to the saints, or believers. It was exciting to them because they learned new things from their leaders in these letters. Most of these letters were written by Paul, but some of them were written by others. These letters from Paul were written while he was on his missions, but the way you see them in the New Testament is not the order in which they were written.
Why not? Why are they out of order?
The men who put together the Bible decided to put them, at least most of them, in order of length. So the longest letters come first. Let's take a quick look at our New Testament scroll. Today we'll be looking at the longest of the epistles that Paul wrote. It's called Romans. This means it was a letter written to the Roman saints. We'll be looking at chapters 1 through 6.
So what were these letters all about?
The epistles taught the saints and gave them instructions about things. You have to remember, the church was quite new at this time. It had not been more than 20 or 30 years since Jesus' death and resurrection. Most people who were believers had only been Christians for a few years at most, and so they needed lots of help. In Romans 1 through 6, Paul talks about many things. He tells the people that he is not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation. Paul showed this in his life. He was never ashamed to testify. He also wanted to teach the people how important it is to not just hear the words of Jesus, but to do the things he asks us to do. He taught that we must have faith in Jesus. Then we have to act on that faith. But there is one more thing that is most important, and that is grace.
What is grace?
Grace is strength that is given from Jesus. It is through grace that we can all be saved. We have to live right and do the things that Jesus asks us to do. And if we do this, that is when His grace will help us to return to live with God after this life. Well, I think you better open your letter from your grandparents, and we can talk more about Paul's epistle to the Romans next time.